Hello everybody and welcome to your podcast Mind the Time, where each week we are joined by a special guest who will have chosen a specific year between 1970 and 1923, and we chat about all things that year. I'm joined as always by my co-host Brandy Mahan.
What's the crack?
And Sean Keddy.
Hello.
How's it going, lads? What is the crack?
Grand. Chilling. Taking her handy.
Chilling like a villain.
We're
back at work this week,
Brandy. After a week off last week. It's a law not talk about it. It's a hard time.
It's not easy, sir.
It's not, no.
It's not easy.
And it's not to say me last week was particularly chilled out. Do you know what I mean? But it's just nice to not have to get up and go to work every day.
That's the dream. That is the dream. What about you, Sean? How are you keeping?
I'm very good. I've been off today,
Nice.
which was lethal. Did a wee bit of charity shop hunting.
Nice. I love a bit of charity shop.
Love it.
Did you get anything nice?
Not today, but I have stuff from the last time, so I started a wee upcycling project today, so
Lovely.
that's me in my element.
Well, I'll be glad to see the results of it.
Indeed you shall.
So our guest this week is a technology consultant, children's book author, music producer, and the brother of co-host Sean Keddy. It is, of course, George Keddy.
Georgie boy. Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks so much.
How are you, George?
Oh, do you know what? The best. And from the day Sean asked me to join the podcast, I just can't believe it. I can't believe I'm here. The other side of the podcast. I'm normally the listener, so here I am to give some input.
The listener has become the
shite talker. That's what it is.
That's what it's well do.
Well, I'm good at the shite talk. I can do that.
Good.
Lovely.
You've come to the right place then.
Yeah. And how have you been keeping, George?
Yeah, just the usual. Work. We put a weekend trying to do stuff at the weekend and then back to work again. I feel like I'm never off.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Heard that.
Yeah. So the year, it was a year in which in 1949 George Orwell predicted would be a dystopian nightmare, and the horrors of giving a government total control was, of course, the year 1984. That is your year, George, and what's the significance of 1984?
Well, the significance is the fact that I was born in that year.
I'll not ask you your memories of it then.
Well, I don't remember much, but I kind of loved milk, but we'll not talk about where I got it.
It was a year of political upheaval around the world. There were strikes, bombings, and a group of musicians came together in aid of a famine relief in war-torn Africa, and in the war in Ethiopia. So there was a lot going on that year. We've a lot of movies that we're really excited to be talking about.
One in particular.
One in particular. I see the Keddy boys are wearing the t-shirts.
I don't even know what you're on about.
That is, of course, Ghostbusters.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Gremlins. Sorry.
That's next week.
That's next week. We'll do that then. So yeah, Ghostbusters plays a big part in your lives. You could see from the room behind us. There's a lot of Ghostbusters paraphernalia, merchandise.
Yeah. Talk about some ghosts and scare everybody. Ooh. Disclaimer. You might have nightmares after listening to this podcast. Yeah. And not because of the ghost stories, just because of the general chat that we're getting up to.
So these things that happened in 1984, obviously you were just born there, but they hold a lot of cultural significance and went on for years after it. So whereabouts were you born? So I'm going to assume Altnagelvin.
But upstairs out in Galvin, like most other people, USA. I think I said that for the first 12 years of my life.
Yeah,
that was the best joke in the playground at the time.
Really was.
Yeah.
And then you got some wee smart fucker who was actually born in America. You'd be like, no, I was actually born. You'd be like, no.
Yeah. You're getting bullied now.
Exactly.
Born out in Galvin, and it's funny because I only found out this today. Whenever my mum was released from Altnagelvin with me, released.
Yeah, a wee ankle bracelet on her.
That's it. We actually came to this house because obviously Sean is now living in and had bought my granny's old house. So I lived here for the first few days.
Wow.
And I probably slept in this room for all I know. So that was...
Oh my God.
Exactly 40 years ago, my first time in this house.
Mad.
Oh, it's all coming around.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so you were the firstborn of the household?
Firstborn. Firstborn, first grandchild, many firsts. Yeah. What other firsts?
George the First.
Loads. I could start naming them, but we would have to change the rating of the podcast. But
so yeah, you were the firstborn in the house, and then Sean came along then a couple of years later and tried to steal your thunder, and you've held on to it ever since.
Yep.
Yeah, that bitterness and anger.
And then the younger boy came and stole everything.
He just took a lot.
And then broke it all.
Give
it back.
Yeah. I was the youngest in our house, so I know that. And I was literally at to just come along and broke everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Yeah. But hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. So things were happening that year. I'll just do a wee quick rundown of things were happening around the world. So the original Apple Macintosh personal computer went on sale. It was during a Super Bowl ad. Have you seen the ad?
The ad is fantastic.
The ad is fantastic. Have you seen it?
A Super Bowl ad from 1984? I haven't actually, no.
It was quite a big deal because they had taken on the George Orwell 1984 theme.
Okay.
And they had this guy doing a speech talking to the people, and they were all in uniformed, and this woman comes out with a sledgehammer and fires it through the screen, and it was pretty powerful at the time. So yeah, that was the first.
Directed by Ridley Scott. Oh, yeah, really?
Actually?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
No, I thought that might have been one of them wee like jokes, but no, that's happy days.
Yeah, it cost $2,500 at the time, the equivalent of $7,500 at the moment for the computer itself, not the ad. The ad was.
I thought you were saying that. I was like, Jesus, what?
I was like, cheaper inflation.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on.
Must check it out.
$2,500 for a computer in the 80s was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money, yeah. So that was sort of the first of the desktops, was it? So that was
the first personal computer.
Wow.
So realistically, there was nothing better at the time. It was the first one with a mouse too.
Oh, it was the first with
and
a mouse.
It was the first one with a user interface. So you can imagine before it was all like commands and open this and open that and stuff. Whereas this time you were able to click. I think you had Mac Write was the word processor, but you could also have Microsoft Word. There was Mac Paint, which is probably what Sean and I would have spent most of our time on. Mm-hmm. We didn't have one, but I always remember our uncle Barney, his girlfriend, had one, and we actually borrowed it for months. And there was an amazing Star Wars game on it.
That's
if you remember, Sean, it was fantastic.
Wow.
Thinking back, it was just like teletext, there was like lines and stuff.
Yeah. But amazing at the time.
And I always remember thinking, I'm going to write a book. And open it up, Mac Write, and thinking, right, I'm going to, once upon it, no, it's no good, no, it's good. there was it, no, it's no good. So yeah, never happens.
Yeah.
Well, again, I did. We can talk a wee bit about what I did later, but didn't write a novel.
Okay, so we could talk about it now. We could go on to it. So
did that computer have a mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
The mouse was quite small, but it had one big button on it.
Okay.
Big thumb, big toe almost.
I think I can remember it now.
Before the mouse, how did you say you had to like type in like a line of like code to get your computer to do something basically?
That's it, yeah.
Really?
So do you know how at the minute you like HTTP www. Was it that when you were typing on like C? No, don't forget, I was only born that year, so I'm not really sure what it was like before. But I remember there's a guy who lives across the street here. Actually, his dad was the expert, and I remember he would have shown me like, do you know before Windows 95 that you had Windows 3 or something, and it was just a teletext type thing, and you typed in like open if you want a word processor, you typed in open word or something. It was really basic.
Jeez.
I don't know enough about it because technology's moved so advanced and so fast. It's hard to remember, but
mad.
Yeah, it is mad. It's been mad actually doing these podcasts and realizing. Well, we knew anyway how fast technology moves.
How quickly the words changed from then to now.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But even like that was called the Macintosh 128. And it was called the 128 because it had 128 kilobytes of memory, which isn't even enough to hold the JPEG of the photograph we took earlier for the podcast. Like there's just not enough memory on it for that.
Ban it then. It's no good this.
but it's funny because I read about this too when I was doing a wee bit of research, and there's people still using them today to write books and write. I was going to say posts for Facebook, but that's wrong.
That's my kind of people there.
I was going to say, I could see you coming out of a charity shop with one of them, Sean, under your arm, writing a book.
I nearly came out with a fucking organ today. Like
what do you mean an organ? Like a liver or lungs?
No, I went down and came out with one less organ. But
it's all for charity, dude. It's great.
So, yeah, I'm a Luddite. Love a good bit of old tech.
Nice, yeah. You're a core man for the old tech.
Go back to a one button mouse.
I had one button mouses.
One button.
So Hong Kong, the UK and China agree Hong Kong will revert back to China in 1997. It was a year in the UK of miners' strikes. The coal mines, Margaret Thatcher was...
I thought you meant like minor strikes, like strikes, but they weren't that.
just strikes.
Not big mental ones, just wee minor strikes, just.
Or under 16 striking. We're not going to school. So yeah, that was quite a big thing in 1984. Thatcher just being the absolute see you next Tuesday that she is. Because we're said we're not going to curse much anymore.
That's right,
myself and Brendy's trying.
I've already cursed about 3 times already, but sure, you know. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, daddy.
Yeah, and that's where it actually came from. Was our mothers watching it,
slagging me for cursing too much.
Yeah.
But they're right.
Yeah, but you know what? We're trying. We're trying.
We could have put the wee beep in. No, every time someone curses.
No,
that would have been beep in good.
I would sound like one of those machines at a hospital. Just beep, beep, beep.
You just end up doing my beep head on.
Yeah. All of a sudden, somebody comes out with a load of curse words and it's just flatline and beep.
Well, that's used to.
Another way would have been a charity box, £1 for every time.
I swear, Jared, I said that last time. Exactly.
We're doing it with marshmallows.
Funny you're talking about just there now. You said about like a constant flatline and like beeping because somebody's cursing too much. See, like in my work, they play the radio and whatever they used to play like Downtown FM, whatever it was, or Hits Radio or something, and they play the same 5 or 6 songs every day, but they always play My Name Is by Eminem, which obviously Eminem's a lot of cursing, like, and I swear to God, they play the full song, right, but they bleep out every bad word, but they don't even bleep out every bad word. They bleep out words like gum or like violent or anything, and it's literally just like it's like my name, and then it's like it's just silence for like 15 seconds. You're just like listening to the backing track, you know.
It's just fucking Morse code.
Ba-boom.
The Titanic is sinking.
There's about 5 words that are actually audible. Everything else is just blanked out.
That's mad. Like if they've got 6 songs, they think they've just picked a song that's you don't have to blank out half the bloody words on it. See, I said bloody there instead of effing. Oh no, that's good.
I don't like it. I don't like this purity.
Arguably worse.
Can you not like do half a curse word each?
Maybe we'll allow ourselves half a curse word each.
Do you know what I mean?
For cooking.
Virgin Atlantic Airways began operations with a maiden flight from Gatwick Airport in London to New Jersey. It's the first Virgin Airways.
Have you seen any footage of that?
No.
So Richard Branson obviously is the owner of Virgin at the time, and he pulls up to the airport and he's advertising it. He's got all the press there taking photographs and recording for news. He had forgot his own passport, so he had to wait for someone to go home and get his passport and bring it out to him. Can you imagine?
For his own airline?
Yeah, for his own airline, first flight. Can't even go.
So the first flight was running late because Richard forgot his...
Exactly.
I'm shouting at the girl at the gate now, what kind of shit? He's running. He's like, you're running it? What are you on about?
I only speak to the owner.
Look at that mirror, airbag man.
Yeah, you've got it. The first untethered spacewalk.
Right?
Yeah.
Untethered as in not tied to anything and just...
Just not tied to anything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that fact. It was two guys actually. I need to go to my notes. Bruce McCandless and Robert Stewart.
Like Robbie.
What a feat. Like they say walking on the moon was a big one, but I think that's as scary and as important.
Oh, so they weren't on the moon, they were just floating through space basically? Is that what you said?
They were just floating, weren't they? Because they didn't go back to the moon then.
Floating about the show.
Yeah.
Because in the past they were always like clicking on and they had extra click-ons and they just decided they would use like the little... You can imagine the wee...
So what were they smoking?
I was just super vapes.
Yeah. So we had asked this question before actually when we were talking about space travel. Would you go to the moon if you had the chance?
Definitely.
Would you? Nice, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I remember listening to the podcast and I'm shouting answers out. Almost like it's a TV show. I'll go.
Sign me up. And I take it you would do the untethered walk as well. Sure, if you're up there, like you might as well.
100%. And then something I would do then is maybe... Do you know Red Bull did it in 2012 or something?
You're
the jump from.
I would say let's stop here. I want to jump on from here, but beat his record.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Just be all stop the world. I'm getting off, literally.
So if you beat his record, but like you know the way he had like landed and stuff. If I went up, could I just go? I'm going to beat his record and just boom. just jump.
Pancake.
Just pancake. I still beat him. Still went faster.
Then you'd be dead.
That doesn't matter. I've got a world record.
But you wouldn't know.
Well, other people know, and that's all that matters, Sean. So I'm good enough for that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's also the year of Band-Aid. There was a lot of going on. There was apartheid in South Africa was such a big thing at the time as well. There's a class story. Did you hear the Christy Moore song "Dunn Stores"?
I have heard that actually. I remember that there.
Yeah.
So Duns were these group of ladies from Duns kind of started their own boycott of African something.
Yeah,
you tell it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's basically, it was a woman called Mary Manning who was on the tills. She was only like 17 years old, and somebody was buying a grapefruit with a sticker on it from Produce of South Africa, and she was like, "No, not doing it." And Dunn Stores, her old employers, Dunn Stores were like, Ben Dunn, he was like, not having none of this, and they got up and they went on strike. 10 other people went with her, and there's actually a street named after her in South Africa now, Mary Manning Street.
Wow.
Ben Dunn was having none of it in terms of he was all
get back in your
get
tills.
back to work and sell that grapefruit.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's very much a Dunn's thing.
Yeah, that was the Dunn thing.
Attention customers. Well done, Mary Manning.
Manning.
And apparently she was one of the first people that Nelson Mandela met when he was released as well.
Brilliant.
Was he in
Love
Dublin?
Fair play.
He's in buying a cardigan.
He was returning something. The receipt was how many years was he in prison? 30 years.
Wow.
Sir, you've only got 28 days. Not 28 years.
Yeah, so that was the crack. So a big thing of 1984 was the movies. I think we should just go into the movies now, will we? And we'll have a wee look at them.
Already?
Well, we wanted to do like a Ghostbusters special because you are such big fans of Ghostbusters, and it came out the year you were born, and we were going to talk about some like ghost stories and all too, weren't we? Woo!
We'll do that.
Ghostbusters.
Had us with some movies first.
We shall. I'm going to keep that one to the end. We'll start off. This is one George and I had in the gaff years ago. My parents had it on, like, recorded on VHS, was The Company of Wolves. And it was, I don't think we were allowed to watch it, were we?
No, we weren't. So that's the thing, and that's why I messaged you about it today, because I watched the trailer, I read all the facts about it, and I watched that one scene that we used to bring boys under the house. Come, you have to come in and see this scene. So, Mum and Dad, apologies if you're listening, but there was a time where you might have gone out to the shops or picking up our youngest brother or something.
Lies.
So we would.
This is lies. Mum, Dad, I wasn't there. I closed my eyes.
But I always remember sneaking a boy into the house, having to fast forward the cassette to find this part, but it's basically a part where this guy turns into a wolf, but it starts with him like ripping his face off, and it's the most graphic thing ever. Like, think that Robbie Williams song.
Where he takes his skin off.
Like, that was Team.
They used to never show that until after like 9 o'clock, and then you seen the real version, you'd be like, ooh.
Like that was Fairy Team compared to this Company of Wolf. But there's a scene like the skin's all off, and his mouth just goes like boom. It just protrudes this big dog mouth. Oh, it's unreal.
But it was like the scene where they cut the head off.
Yeah,
and it goes in the bath, and then it comes up as a human head, and it starts floating.
Lovely.
That's it.
Sounds like it was quite well done for its time. If it was so gruesome.
Made in 1984, obviously tiny budget, made very little money extra, but I'd recommend even just watch that one scene.
I've never even heard of it.
That does ring a bell now when you say it. It sort of come out from inside the mouth, it looked like more, didn't it?
Just punched out like, oh.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
If I'm not mistaken, it's an adaptation or loosely based on Little Red Riding Hood. So
yeah, that's what I read. So it's like a weird Little Red Riding Hood. It's based modern day.
Yeah.
About a girl who has a dream and she's with her granny. Do you know who plays her granny? Do you remember?
Angela Lansbury.
Oh, your favourite, Sean.
Big Ange.
Yeah.
But do you know what made me laugh is I was looking up the quote, and if you don't mind, I'll just read one of the quotes that Angela Lansbury, the granny, says in the show. But she says, never stray from the path in the woods, never eat a wind-fell apple, and never trust a man whose eyebrows meet.
Good advice to this day.
I love it.
She was on the something.
I just said Stephen Ray was also on it, the Irish actor.
Really?
Stephen Ray, was he? Yeah.
There you go.
There's a photo of my house of him with my. Just, he met her.
Is
she met him.
Is he turning into a wolf in the middle of
It
it?
was, after the photo, he turned around, bit her head off, apparently. It was a hard time.
I just see a wee bit of trivia in that movie. Due to budgetary constraints and fears about safety, most of the wolves in the movie are actually Belgian Shepherd dogs whose fur has been dyed.
Right.
Oh.
Belgian Shepherds.
Mm-hmm.
The less famous cousin of the German Shepherd.
Yeah.
There's a wee Norwegian Shepherd here, hey, wee doggies.
Chihuahua.
Next we have June, or Dune, if you're American. June, the first adaptation, or so I think. The first
I still don't know what you're saying.
movie adaptation. You know the movie that's out right now?
Oh, June, like sand June.
So June. We say June. Some people say June.
Americans, you can't pronounce it properly.
Or John.
Done.
So
Stores.
that was David Lynch directed.
Was
so,
it?
Yeah. It's actually pretty good, but some people would disagree.
I'm seeing the cast of it here. Patrick Stewart was in it.
Big
Sting
Patsy.
was in it.
Like Stingies.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah. Brad Dourif. Sean Young. Brilliant, like. Good cast.
Class.
We've got, quite obviously, we've got 1984.
Wow.
The movie, the adaptation of the George Orwell book, obviously, with John Hurt, Susanna Hamilton. And I'm almost sure it's the first, it's where the Big Brother thing comes from.
That's exactly it.
So-
Yeah.
Right, aye. Aye.
Yeah, Big Brother is watching you. So that first appeared in George Orwell's
Also, they
book.
actually say Big Brother.
So Big Brother was
They
watching
coined the
it.
term Big Brother. There you go.
So it was a totalitarian regime, and
Yeah.
they thought police and all in it too. It's really freaky.
Well ahead of
I
its
read
time.
the book, and
The book's brilliant.
the movie done it justice.
Indeed. We had fly through some of these now. Police Academy, the first one,
Oh.
The first of many. How many police academies did there end up
At
being?
least 5 or 6.
364.
Yeah.
They brought
there was
one
about-
out every day for a year, and then they sacked it on the last day.
I think it was 7.
Ah,
Yeah, there was quite a lot.
I used to love the Police Academy movies. That was one of my go-tos when I was given permission to go to the video shop.
I think
Police Academy.
George will agree with this. Michael Winslow,
Oh, amazing.
Just-
yeah.
he was the
Even to this day, that guy, like, he does like
Aye.
shows where he can do Jimi Hendrix singing and
I
playing
was at the guy that does
guitar.
all the sounds with his mouth and stuff.
Yeah, so he's stand-up comedian. He's played in Ireland a good few times now. I'm nearly sure he played in Daly's and Omar somewhere. Like he's
Right?
we keep missing him. You had Top Secret with Val Kilmer. It's like a spoof movie. It's very good. No takers there.
don't remember it.
Supergirl.
Supergirl. Yeah.
Supergirl.
Yeah.
About this girl, and she was pure super.
That's just
She
bleeding.
was there, super high.
That was with
She went to sugar.
Bondi Beach.
Big one, Footloose.
Food, Kevin Bacon. I know you can't help but sing the song.
I know.
The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
I had to mention this because it's great.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's very good. Streets of Fire.
What
It's
was
like
Streets of Fire?
It's like a rock and roll noir musical.
Oh, okay.
Looks very good.
Yeah.
We had Repo Man,
Repo Man, I think I've seen that.
Emilio Estevez.
Aye, maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
The wrestler, maybe.
The Wrestler.
There was a wrestler called the Repo Man. That's who I
Right? I
remember.
don't know. I don't know what I'm on about
That's what
anymore.
I was thinking. I thought it was some kind of like backstory movie or something.
Yeah.
What got him into Lycra?
We'll get through. There's so much big ones coming up. Once Upon a Time in America. Sergio.
I've never seen that either. I'm
Yeah,
not doing
great
well this
movie.
last
Really?
time. Never. No,
Oh my God.
I've always been aware of it,
Here.
but I've just never seen
Take
it.
that home. 16 Candles.
Never seen it.
John Hughes film. Beverly Hills Cop.
Seen that.
Yeah.
Seen that.
Great movie. Like Eddie Murphy at that time
Eddie.
was the king of comedy. Like he was.
Yeah.
I think that's the movie that set his fame off, didn't it? It set it on fire. Yeah, he became massive from that.
Yeah.
And that theme tune alone, wow. Axel Foley.
Axel Foley, of course.
That's brilliant. The first movie is the best. I'm looking forward to the fourth. There's the fourth movie
so
coming out
here,
this year.
yeah.
And Judge Reinhold and John Ashton's back. It was the two like the duo cops.
That's
that help
right.
him. They're back. Brilliant. We had the Terminator.
Oh wow.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scared the bejesus out of me
Brilliant, but
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
as a child. I mean.
James Cameron, obviously.
Last week.
Last night.
Never Ending Story.
Seen that. Goes on for a bit. Hasn't it?
Still haven't seen the end of it.
Still hasn't ended.
No, I know.
Does anyone else see white dogs and think, oh, it's Falcor? Every time I see a white dog. Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Mm-hmm.
The Nerds. The Nerds. Love it. Gremlins.
Class.
Wow.
Class. Joe Dante. A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh. I used to scare the shit out of me when I was away too. Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was the movie that was my first proper scare watching a movie, because I remember it was shown on Channel 4 once, and it was the first time it was shown on terrestrial TV, and there was quite a big deal about it, like. And me and my sister, I don't think we were allowed to stay up and watch it, but we stayed up to watch it. Oh my god, I didn't sleep for about 2 weeks after it, like. Really? Because Freddy comes into your dreams, like.
Exactly.
And I always remember I was lying. I slept in a bunk bed, and I was in the top bunk. And I remember just lying there, going, "I'll never sleep again. This is it. Like, he's going to come into my dreams."
You like pooey through your mattress.
Oh, you'd be gone. Just
horror world.
my ma be coming in the morning, and it's just like fucking ripped up doovie there. It's going, "We're fucking." I'm trying to tell her, fucking Freddy took me, but geez, there's no way of telling her because it's all happening. And then there was a wee blink of light. The door opened in the bedroom, and I remember having the thought, "This is it now. This is it. I'm gone. Say your prayers, Harvey. You're done." And it was my sister going, "Can you not sleep, Healer? Can I come in beside you?"
Brilliant.
See, at in our house, it would have been, turn off the fucking landing light.
Yeah.
The Nightmare on Elm Street was also the movie debut of Johnny Depp.
Really? Was it?
Right.
It's his first movie.
There you go. Did not know that.
Indeed.
And he hasn't washed since.
No.
Johnny Dirt. Starman. Is that
Starman?
No. No. John Carpenter movie with Jeff Bridges and Karen Allen. Right. That's brilliant.
Never seen it.
It's very good. Very, very good. The Karate Kid.
Oh, was that year too?
Yeah.
Karate Kid was another favourite of the video shop at the time.
Yeah, very good film. Still good. I watched it recently enough. Within the last year, anyway. It was good crack.
Yeah.
And then spawned such a great show, Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
That's right. I haven't seen that.
It's very good.
Ever since Karate Kid, like, I was the time in the playgrounds where everybody thought they could do karate.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes still, if some things are getting rowdy or whatever, I'll just pull a crane kick. I'll not actually do it, but I'll stand up and talk.
Threaten us if you're about to.
Oh, aye, because, like, anybody of that generation would be afraid.
You could use that for, what do you call him? Freddy Krueger. Next time he comes into your bedroom.
Crane, kick him in the face.
Kick him in the claws.
Kick his hat off.
Splash, I remembered. Don't remember a whole lot about it.
Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah.
Splashing about the place.
Splashing. She is a mermaid, so it's like, I wouldn't say it's like loosely based on The Little Mermaid, but it's kind of in and around that kind of storyline.
I'd say there's not too many different ways they took that whole mermaid thing.
Does she live in their bath or something? I remember seeing with her in the bath. Yeah.
Something like that.
There was a scene her in the bath, actually.
And then there was a werewolf's head.
And I remember thinking how weird it is that you fancied that one in the bath, but it's a half a fucking fish. You know what I mean?
But what end did you fancy?
Oh, I'm not even going to say.
Is that why you had fish and chips tonight? So there was a couple others. I'll just rhyme them off quick. The Toxic Avenger, Romancing the Stone, Muppets Take Manhattan, Purple Rain, Temple of Doom. But the big one, Ghostbusters.
Call.
I have a bit of trivia. So do you know that Hugh Lewis and the News were approached to write the theme tune for Ghostbusters, and they were like, no, we're not interested. So they got Ray Parker Jr., and he basically just ripped off Hugh Lewis and the News' song "I Want a New Drug." And if you listen to the two of them, they sound nearly identical, even the music at least.
Was there ever any court battles?
There was indeed. So I think he is like co-credit now. Like,
right.
Should have been all you should have done the theme tune, lads. When you're offered.
You want to get
still a good song.
Yeah,
but it's one of them songs that it's played in the radio on Halloween.
Yeah,
it's associated with Halloween now, but it's a song that could come on the radio even today.
It's a banger, like it's a good tune.
I love that.
It's a good tune.
It came on the radio the other day, but obviously it's because Frozen Empire just came out, so the new GB film. So
True.
So what would have been? Would you have seen it first, or would you have seen it together? Ghostbusters. Do you remember?
That's a good question, because I don't remember seeing Ghostbusters and saying I want. I remember just having the stuff. Like everything behind you. Is this any of this mine, or is that all yours?
So this is the newer lot we bought you about 10 years ago, remember?
Right.
Because Mum gave away a lot of our stuff, as mums do. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So this is one's. I think some of it is yours, the original stuff that you had.
Right.
And then
I've
a
got
lot
the car
of it
at
is
the door, right? So
yeah, a lot of it is eBay that we accumulated over the last few years.
yeah.
So I think, see, the thing about how we were gravitated. George was more Ghostbusters, and I was more Ninja Turtles at the time. But it's because also it spawned like cartoon series.
Mm-hmm.
So the real Ghostbusters, when that came out, that's when it really took off the toy line and stuff. So that was kind of like
Yeah. Who would want to fight between the Ghostbusters and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Well, the fucking Ghostbusters have proton packs.
They would just go
From a distance,
Yeah. Fair enough.
I suppose they could.
Turtles would be over
katanas
eating pizza and having the crack and just boom.
The next thing they're in another dimension.
Bill Murray just standing over you going, ha. Would you be a Ghostbuster if there was like real ghosts spitting about there?
Believable.
Oh yeah.
Would you reckon?
There is a few Ghostbusters in there.
Ghostbusters?
Well, they had what do you call it? They turn up. They go to like old haunted places and stuff with their equipment and that, and most of it's like apps on your phone and stuff. But
So fun, when do you do this?
I don't do it.
Are you the key master?
You mean like ghost chasers who like go and try and film creepy places and see ghosts?
So there's J.K. Hauntons.
Right.
I
thought you
Jason.
genuinely meant like boys bit about with these big proton packs and they're like, oh.
It's not far off it. So yeah, they go to old places like they went to like Thornhill building and stuff, and then they have the wee devices, and it's like this is showing up
like a wee ghostometer.
A wee ghostometer.
A wee ghostometer.
Yeah.
Class.
I'm not being funny, right? But I ain't afraid of no ghost. But what I mean by that is that I don't believe in ghosts. I
believe class crack.
I believe that I am not someone who experiences paranormal activity. Do you know what I mean? There's people that experience that shit, and I don't.
No, I'm the same. But there's definitely, what I will say is, like, even you talked about the old Thornhill school. I went to a Grove, my old school. Like, we moved when I was in third year. The beginning of the third year, we moved into a new school, brand new building class. But before that, we were in the old Oak Grove, which was actually, it used to be Grantia. You know, it used to be a part of Grantia, and it was a creepy. It was very, very old building, but it was creepy as.
Yeah.
It was like, even like during the day. When you're like in class, it's like Tuesday afternoon, 2:00, and you're like, Miss, may I go to the toilet? Walking from the classroom to the toilet through a big brightly lit daytime corridor. For some reason, it was just really creepy because nobody else was there. And then when you had to go to the toilet, anybody went to Grove, remember? You had to go on this, like, you turned right into this wee, like, and it took you down this wee dark tunnel that you had to go through to get down into the toilets. And then there was like an old wee space here where it used to be like the showers and all, but it was all kind of dirty terracotta tiles. It was really, really, it was just a creepy building. And there was actually, in the art rooms were like really, really high ceilings. They were upstairs, and they were, I would say, about 30-foot high ceilings. And then our art room that we were in, there was footprints all across the roof. And nobody ever knows how they got there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying there was a ghost walking upside down. You know, it's correct. Probably more likely somebody had a big stick, but there was footprints on the roof.
Footprints on the ceiling.
Yeah,
we could write a poem about that, Brendan.
I think Lionel Richie really wrote a song about it. Footprints on the ceiling. Or no, sorry, it was
dancing.
Maybe that's
Ghosts in Oak Grove. But there is, if you believe in that thing, there is clattered in haunted places. Even Prahen House out the road there. Creepy old building too. You ever on there? No. You were saying you were in Cumber House on your Todd very recently.
I was in Cumber House on my Todd, and it was so Cumber House was always like growing up. When you mentioned ghost stories about tonight too, and like I always just my brain goes to Cumber House because that was the scariest place on earth when you grew up in Claudy. Like all those stories of Colonel Brown and that. So I was setting up doing a comedy night there, and I was in the building on my own for the first time in my life. And I just felt so at ease with it, and I felt so grown up, and I felt like I've got this now.
What did you tell me then? But you were all, I didn't go upstairs though.
What exactly? Yeah. So then they'd said if like the acts and stuff want to hang out up the stairs, go and have a wee look, and it's like, I'll not push it that far.
Shiting yourself.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my wee victory downstairs. I don't want to go upstairs and expose myself to anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Is that your ghost story? Do you have any more?
That's it. Yeah.
That's a good one. George, do you have any?
I've got a couple, but there's one that I always think about. Not too far from here, actually. Well, if I said a bit of context, so across the road is where I grew up. That's where my parents still live, and my mates used to live on top of the hill. Probably still do. But I always remember going up and down to their house, walking up and down, sometimes cycling, sometimes running. But there's this one Halloween time of the year, it was October, November, and I remember walking underneath these big conker trees that they've got down at the entrance. And it was really dark, it was really windy. And it's just that thing you do when you walk and it's windy and you're looking down just to kind of shelter yourself a bit. But I remember watching the branches of the trees move and I could see them.
Oh.
And as I was walking, I think I was walking down the hill. Do you know when you lift your feet, you see your shadow leave and connect again when you drop your foot down again? I saw that walk past me.
Oh my God, I just get a chill going through me there, man. I have to drive past that when I'm going home.
Big brave Phantom.
I know.
House, not scared.
I'm done now. So this has been the Wind of Time podcast again before it gets started.
Brendan's going to walk me home.
Hold my hand.
We're all staying here tonight, Sean.
A nightmare knocky.
But what was it then? Just
Well, part of me was kind of like, had to be trees, but I saw the feet leave the shadow and connect again, and I saw it pass me. I was going the opposite direction, so it could have been anything. I'm sure someone could easily say, I've seen that a million times, it's branches, but for me it was like you say, Fenton, you got that goosebump, that
you get that wee feeling. Once you get that, it's game over.
Yeah, my body kind of went into like almost like plasm or what do you call it, like spasm shock.
Yeah.
But then I walked on, I thought, that was amazing. And I've had a couple of randomy things like that since, but it's one of them things, like you said, Fenton, about being in Comber House, you're an adult, you're kind of like, I'm not going to run scared and start crying.
You have this new, I mean, like, if I'm ever like, because I do, if I watch like a horror film, I'm like 33 now, still have a while active, like imagine, I don't like being scared. I don't like I think it was like Louis C.K. I was watching one night, he's talking about how he hates horror films, and he's like, my life's hard enough, I don't need to be scared shit, let's walk around my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is, I completely agree with, it's very true. But I have this thing now where I'm like, if I have a wee moment, I'm like, Jesus, what was that? And then I'm all, I'm a 33-year-old man, I'll batter a ghost. Oh my God.
Imagine Marion walking on Sunday in your bathroom.
Just swinging hefties. In reality, I'd probably be in the corner. Oh, Marion, help! Ghost trying to get me.
Blair Witch.
I actually had an experience. Now, this isn't anything to do with ghosts whatsoever, but it was fucking terrifying at the time. It was maybe about 10 years ago. I was living in my ma's house at the time, and I don't even think I was drunk. I think I was going to bed, whatever. It was middle of the night, but I was lying, and I was tell a lie. I was about to tell a lie. I was lying in my bed, right? And whatever happened, I had like a cushion beside me. You know, a wee cushion that like sits in your bed, and then you take it off before you get into the bed. My ma used to always put cushions in my bed. Anyway, this cushion was beside me, and I think I had like fallen asleep watching TV. So I woke up and turned the TV off, and then this cushion was here. So I was like, "Well, get ready out there." So I like lifted the cushion and threw it across the room, and I had like a wee chair over here, you know, like some clothes and all on it, and I threw the cushion over onto the chair, and as soon as the cushion hit the chair. Now, bearing in mind, middle of the night, completely pitch black, and not a sound in the house. And as soon as I threw the cushion over the chair, it landed on the chair, and all I heard, in my head, was whispering. And I was like, I sat bolt upright in my bed. It was like fumbling to get the light on, and I was like, I was convinced I could see a big shape of somebody sitting in this chair whispering to me. That I threw the cushion at them, and they were whispering at me, and I was shitting myself.
That'll be a long night.
I swear to God, turned on the light, right, and I looked over. Of course, there was nobody there, but my heart was like going, I was like shaking. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like scared to go over. I was like, what's going on over there? So I went over, and eventually I lifted the cushion, and my iPod was lying there with the earphones in it. So what had happened was I'd thrown the cushion over, and it had landed on the iPod, and like pressed play, and so I could know you could hear music from somebody else, but it sounded like a whisper. But you can imagine the terror I felt. Man. And even after, I was kind of like laughing about it then, but even after, I was like lying in my bed, and TV went back on, and I was like light on, and I was just not quite ready for the whispering iPod. Maybe I know it wasn't somebody whispering at me, but I'm still not quite there yet. Oh, absolutely shat myself.
Amazing.
Do you know what I just remember? I don't know why this story just reminded me of a story in this room that happened in this room when I was a kid.
Oh, Jesus. Let me get out first.
I'm so glad that George is back from New Zealand.
No, don't worry. This ain't what you think, but This boy knows what I'm on about. So in this actual room, so every Halloween, George and I used to come down to my grandmother, my grandparents when they lived here, and used to trick or treat, come in, watch a movie, go to bed, and we would have slept on here with my grandmother. So she used to sit and she used to tell us these amazing ghost stories, and we used to sit there and just listen every year, the same ghost stories, but we just loved hearing them.
Yeah.
But one day, like my granny used to tell this story back to me. So one day we were lying there, so we're lying there, and there used to be a big wardrobe here, and she just said, I went, Granny, and she was like, what's wrong, Sean? She was like, there's a big pair of eyes up on top of the wardrobe looking down at me. And she was all, where? And I pointed up and she goes, no, that's not a big pair of eyes. It's just 2 toilet rolls.
And true enough, it was a packet of toilet rolls just aiming down, but it looked like E.T. or something.
Yeah. In the dead of night, anything scare the shit out of you.
Peeking out over a wardrobe. Yeah, wouldn't be that.
But I also had to mention, that this week on This Morning, there was a couple on it. They were called Rebecca and Catherine, a couple that were telling the presenters how they are now a throuple with a ghost.
Of course they are.
Okay.
Of course they are.
So they are now in a relationship with a ghost.
That was 1984.
No, that was this week.
All right.
And it's brilliant. He's called Rupert.
That's actually like a really good idea for the just get on TV and have a bit of acclaim for yourself over absolutely not. me and Phantom will be, we're going to be turning out, and there's also this ghost that we go with too. Let's go on TV and
Francis.
Well, actually, we've got Rupert here in the studio. Rupert, morning.
Hey, Rupert. Show yourself.
How you doing?
See if one of them balloons burst, I'm going fucking home, boys. And I cursed for that. I'm just saying.
And I meant it.
Phantom, what height are you again?
6'5.5".
Oh, so Rupert is 6 foot 6 inches.
Oh my god, taller than me too.
He's got blue eyes and blonde hair.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't your imaginary boyfriend have blue eyes and blonde hair and be 6'6"?
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, right? And is that not necrophilia? To be sleeping with a ghost?
That's a dead body, isn't it?
Yeah.
A dead
It's
person.
an out of body spirit.
It's not really a body though, is it? It's like a soul.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a solution. The Ghostbusters.
Who are you going to call?
Who are we going to call? Right enough.
You just asked me there what height am I, and it just reminded me recently at a gig there was an old lady, and she called me over and she goes, "Excuse me, son, excuse me." She goes, "What height are you?" And I was like, "I'm 6'5.5". She goes, "Oh, if you were a half an inch taller, you would get a blue card for your car."
So that's like a disability. They'd be 6'6".
Apparently so.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to start wearing heels.
You'll be able to clean that DLA and everything, get a whole new car and everything.
Oh man, jeez.
You'd be like your man out of the Simpsons. Do you ever see the big tall boy in the wee tiny car?
Yeah. Me,
You find something funny about me the size of my automobile.
Me, you, and Ghost Francis could have a lovely life for that, Brendan.
Fancy. Well, we'll invite Rupert too, sure, we're at it.
Rupert already has one.
I'm also too tall to be an astronaut.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
There goes your untethered spacewalking.
There goes it.
Nightmare.
There goes it.
See the job I work in at the minute. I've been working from home quite a bit, and there's a lot of people I meet for the first time virtually, and end up working with them for months and months virtually, and then I meet them in person, and they're always 6 foot. They're always massive, big, tall people, and I just feel like a little girl next to them. And no offense to people that are tall, but I just feel so small and inadequate or something. And I'm always looking up saying, "What? You're I didn't expect this."
We're not expecting.
Really awkward, yeah.
Why don't you just say to him, "Fuck you, so I can be an astronaut and you can't."
True. Enough.
People do be a bit weird about the height thing. I'm going to make a terrifying ghost.
It's
A big
space
tall ghost.
ASMR.
There must have been a fair few stories bitten about Claudia too. I always associate like Irish rural places with like ghost stories, like fairy trees and stuff like that.
So the one about Cumber House was Colonel Brown. There was a Colonel Brown that lived there, and apparently. So it's a big stately home. I don't know if you know it. It's out by Claudia Country Park. It's a big stately home.
Beautiful place in the middle of the forest.
So Colonel Brown lived there, and apparently he was wide bad to his staff, and there was a couple of people who had passed away there. He had killed them apparently, and there was a big I don't want to like go to court or anything, but apparently he killed them.
Slander. It was well bad. Their staff, they murdered them and all.
So there was a big laneway getting into it and all, and apparently people had seen his horses and carriage coming running through it and all at night. And then just across from Cumber House, so there's the River Fahan, and then there's a really old graveyard, like the scariest looking graveyard that you've ever seen. But he's buried there,
right?
And he's buried with his 2 dogs. So apparently Colonel Brown, 2 Rottweilers. So Colonel Brown wanders Cumber Forest at night
with the 2 dogs.
2 dogs, and then there was a story about a priest went into Cumber House. There was a cards game on, and a priest was playing cards in Cumber House, the top room, which hasn't been opened again since. Apparently, it's still under lock and key, which is why I didn't want to go up there.
Right.
Because the devil appeared to the priest, and in that room, and the priest said, "Lock that door and never open that door again for anybody."
The devil's just locked in there saying, "Come on, seriously, come on."
Yeah, there's a lot of people waiting on me down, like in
having deliveries for
probably
door.
They'll finally kick down the door and be all like, "Let's see what's in this room." They'll kick it down. The priest just sitting there with an Xbox, like we lads say, "Oh, there's a ghost over here." Sorry, it's pure scary at all.
The ghost was called Tetris.
Speaking of Tetris, 1984 as well.
I might have meant
Segue. So yeah, are we going to go from Ghost to Tetris?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so Tetris was first come out in 1984. No, come out in 1985. Did he come up with it in 1984? I think was it.
It's a haunted game too.
That was
Things falling
Pac-Man.
down.
Pac-Man with a ghost. That's
Bricks
right,
come from the sky.
The wee ghosts. So yeah, I don't really know a lot more about it than quite that year.
We go to Ghosts from Tetris. Okay. Right, so Tetris came out.
Alexei Patnyov in 1984, an artificial intelligence researcher for the Soviet Academy of Sciences at their computer center in Moscow, chose the name Tetris after tetra, the Greek word for 4, and tennis, his favourite sport. And then he didn't make any money out of it to start because he was in the Soviet Union and all money went to the Soviet Union. So there's a movie out about it. Have you seen the movie?
No. About the creation
about
Tetris? No.
Or maybe it's an Apple TV show. Anyway, yeah.
I think I watched it once, but it was blocked.
Hey.
1-0. You fall down, block, just disappear. It's a great game. It's amazing because when I think about Tetris, I remember going shopping with Mum on a Friday night, and Sean would have been there too, and we would have been just little shits wrecking the place, and Mum would have said, "Go up and look at the toys." So we'd have been in Shipkey Place. I think it was Wellworths at the time, and we would have went upstairs.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And there was I'm sure there was clothes and household pots and pans and things like that, but I always remember the game section, and they would have had Game Boys that you could play with, and Game Boys must have been just brand new around that year. What was this, 89, 1991 or something? But Tetris was always that game you got to play, so it was probably the only time I played Tetris up until I was old enough to use wages to buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always reminded me of those simpler times where you were a child, no worries, and yeah.
And it was such a simple game, and so addictive. Like
it's just all about
amazing
fitting the wee shapes in round.
I'm saying that, and of course there was a lot of work went into it to make it, and I'm sure. But yeah, it was quite a simple game compared.
I've actually got the modern version on my Oculus Quest, so you're sitting in the living room VR playing this massive game of Tetris. It's unbelievable. And the music, yeah, it's genius. Like,
and is the blocks in your living room like?
They're just bouncing around, yeah, and you're just like the game, but you're in your living room, yeah. That's it. So, but it's fascinating.
That sounds class.
I gotta find that too stressful. It'd be like too real. I'd be like, no, I gotta think about there, Jesus. No.
Accidentally, like locking furniture and it doesn't. Empty house. What's happened?
Kicking the TV. Oh, sorry, Jesus.
Just trying to make the block fit.
Here I comes in. You're just punching the TV. I'm trying to make it fit.
I think Tetris is so. I played quite a lot of it, like for a year or so as a kid, and then I remember working in shops and even going into shops now, packing groceries, man. I'm fucking class at it because of Tetris.
Because of Tetris,
yeah, like there's packet of digestives coming down. I'm like flipping them around, and like, oh, it'll fit there beside the eggs.
Amazing.
Then I got fired because the guy was like, "You're not supposed to throw the groceries up in the air first, and just put them in the bag." And he's like, "Oh God."
Yeah. So every time I come on, it's like, "Geez, there's your man. Thinks he's in fucking Tetris again."
He doesn't even work here. Go and get him out. You with a VR headset on you?
So what about we go on to a few songs, will we?
Music.
A wee bit of music from 1984.
We list of music here. Some serious hits out that year, to be fair now. So we'll start. I'll start like I always start. I'll do the top 5 songs of that year. We'll go from 5 to 1 this time, because that seems, I don't know why I was going 1 to 5. It's ridiculous. Anyway, number 5 was Against All Odds by Phil Collins.
Tune.
You might not, I didn't know that, but then you see the brackets. It's Take a Look at Me Now, and you're like, I know that one. Number 4, something you mentioned already, Sean. Footloose with Kenny Loggins. Gonna footloose. Kick out Sunday shoes. Don't know any. I don't know any. I don't think anyone actually knows that song. It's just like,
I said put on your Sunday shoes. You said pick up your...
I don't even know what I says.
I don't even...
Kick off your Sunday shoes is what I said.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I didn't sing because you'll be cancelled.
Number 3, which is an absolute tune, I still love this song, was Say 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 by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. You know what one?
I don't know that one.
You do surely. It was actually like, it was remixed. They like a wee dancey song, maybe like in the late 2000s. Michael Jackson's wee bits like, all alone, I sit home by the phone, I waited for you, baby. And then Paul McCartney goes,
I know it now. It was the baby that got me. Baby.
You know, great wee tune. Number 2 was What's Love Got to Do With It by Tina Turner.
Yes.
Tune Dory. And then number 1, When Doves Cry by Prince. The main man, the artist formerly known as Prince. We were talking about this a few weeks ago. Remember, it was like an unpronounceable symbol. We were calling him When Doves Cry by. And then I just wrote a list. We lost the hour, like big songs from that year. So we had Jump by Van Halen.
Yeah.
Hello by Lionel Richie. Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes. Great wee tune. Ghostbusters is obviously by Ray Parker Jr. Carol McMillian, The Culture Club. Tune. Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen. Cyndi Lauper, banger after banger, time after time. What a tune. Girls just want to have fun, all that crack. Funny enough, we're talking about the whole ghosts and kind of like Halloween-y type thing. Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me. That's always like a Halloween-y tune.
That's right, yeah.
And funny enough, I showed Marion this list before we left the house, and then like 2 minutes later, she was just somebody's watching me. She was all, thanks, it's in my head all night now. Billy Joel, couple of bangers out. Uptown Girl, that album, For the Longest Time. Do you know that song, For the Longest Time, by Billy Joel?
For the longest time.
But it's like a wee doo-wop group. It's done like a wee 4-part harmony. I only found out recently he does all 4 parts of the harmony, so it's like a really low and high. He does all the voices in that song, which is just even more impressive. Great
no more there,
don't you be trying auto-tune?
Can't do auto-tune. We have Kenny. I've rebranded them Kenny and Dolly. Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Islands in the Stream.
Kendall.
Kendall. Hi, there you go. There. And then absolute banger, Give It Up by KC and the Sunshine Band, which is just an absolute tune. Big mental list albums here. I'll just fly through them. You had Van Halen, 1984. Wonder why they called it that. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. Ride the Lightning by Metallica. Purple Rain by Prince. Ocean Rain by Echo and the Bunnymen. Private Dancer, Tina Turner. This here one here, I had to do a bit of googling here. This confused the shite out of me. So, the Smiths, right? They had their first album out in 1984. It was called The Smiths. Right, straightforward enough. Also in 1984, further down the list, another Smiths album called Hatful of Hollow. So I looked and I was like, it must be like a wee demo or something. It was like a full-on big mental album, and I was like, what the hell? How did they have an hour album out? It's a compilation CD brought out in the same year as their first album. So who brings out a compilation CD in the same year as your debut album?
Wow.
Where do you get the songs from? Where did they I still don't know to this.
Probably demos.
No, but few of the same songs from this album were on. Okay. It was I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, fair play to them.
Money.
The Replacements, The Pretenders, Simple Minds, Madonna, Iron Maiden, R.E.M., Judas Priest, Talking Heads, Wham, Bronski Beat, The Scorpions. I have to actually look at this. You know, The Scorpions, kind of wee 80s glam rock band. Their album was called Love at First Sting, which I just thought so bad it's good. Depeche Mode, Queen, David Bowie, The Cure, Billy Ocean, Shaka Khan.
What a time they love
out that year.
Yeah, wow.
And that's just according to like top 100 by Billboard. I'm sure if you dive deeper, there's far more class stuff out there too.
Wow.
But every song you mentioned, everyone knows it. Well, my hope is everyone knows it.
Yeah,
it's there. It's locked
still on the radio every day.
Name a song came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
I can't.
4. You can't.
My list of music from 2021 was dire.
That's what I was just going to say. It was don't know it.
No. Yeah, bangers.
I if you don't mind, I just wrote down some of my favourite songs from '84 because I just couldn't believe that these songs were '84 when I went to work. I will. Sorry. Van Halen Jump. You mentioned it. Yeah. I love that song. Absolutely love it. Sean got me into rock. I never liked rock music, and Sean got me into it. Obviously with his band stuff, but that was just a crazy one. It was almost like take your rip off your skull.
Oh, aye. I'm sure when that song first came out, it was like, what?
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, it was just a rebel song to me, Yeah. But then Pointer Sisters Jump too.
That's right. That was a great song. I was out that year too. I wasn't on my list, but I remember seeing that too. And that's the one Gers Lloyd covered like years later.
Yeah. Gers Lloyd covered it. It was good too. Yeah. Thompson Twins, Hold Me Now. Oh, it's one of the.
Don't think I know that one.
Hold Me Now.
I was thinking of the Johnny Logan song.
Oh, I do know that. I actually do. I think I do know that.
And then the Smiths, This Charming Man.
Great tune. And my favourite Smith song I think was on that same album too. What difference does it make? Was it?
Yeah,
great tune as well.
So yeah, but it's such a year.
And incredible.
It's amazing because I went through a stage where I was going to uni. I was listening to 80s music constantly, driving to uni in Coleraine, and the poor guys that were driving up and down with me were just stuck on 80s. They had nothing else. But to think that why wasn't I into Oasis and Blur and all of that stuff growing up in the 90s and eventually I get into dance music, but I always go back. Even today I listen to I put a Spotify playlist on 1984 and I just listen to it.
80s music's amazing. I still absolutely love it. It's got that wee 80s sound. They all sing it kind of the same way and it's all synths and it's brilliant.
But one of the big ones you didn't mention was Feed the World or
a Band-Aid.
That Band-Aid track is that was just...
So that came out that Christmas of 1984, didn't it?
It was in the charts for 5 weeks? Three of 84 and 2 weeks of 1985.
Get off on the boys.
But we planned to talk about that anyway because I kind of wanted to mention that because it was such a big thing. Like, we all remember Michael Burke from being this news presenter, but he did some of these hard-hitting documentaries. But he did a documentary that year about Ethiopia and that famine that was happening, and it was unbelievable. He was talking about thousands of people who've died, and there was potentially 10 million people who could die in the next few years, and that's what really set Bob Geldof and Midge Ure to go and do something about it. And by chance they were kind of in the same, I think they were in the same studio at the same time, some TV studio it was. Geldof basically said to Midge Ure, I need to talk to you, we need to do something. I'll not do an accent, but we need to do something about this. And I think within days they had agreed. They sat down. Midge Ure wrote the melody. Bob Geldof started to write the words, but he used a Boomtown Rats song and just changed a lot of the words, and eventually that became the song. And a few days afterwards they put it together and they started to work it out. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a Boomtown Rats song that it started from.
But it's one of those unreleased ones that you'll never ever be able to go, like Sean talking about Huey Lewis in the news. You can hear that. You can hear how that resembles. Unfortunately, you're not able to do that. But the fact that they were able to, I'm sure Geldof was doing as much as he could. He really wanted to help and get money. And I'm sure back then it was really hard to get money for people. You think these days you
just do a GoFundMe and everyone pays a pound. You're mandate.
So it must have been really difficult. But
fair play.
What I was reading about it today, and one of my favourite facts about it was they really wanted Boy George to do a little solo part, and he was actually in New York because he was super popular at the time. He was in New York doing a tour around North America, and Geldof had rang him the day before and said, right, we need you in London, you need to come back as soon as possible. Your solo part, if you miss it, you're out, but we need you there, you have to. Because it was the best of the best, British, Irish, and they had some American singers. The day they were recording, Bob Geldof Boy George was nowhere to be seen and was trying to get people that knew him, PAs. No mobiles, how are you going to get a guy? Ring his hotel, is he there? It turns out he was in his hotel, in bed. He forgot to get out of bed. So Geldof must have been shouting at him. He got on a Concorde that morning, and he was in London that afternoon, and he did his solo part at 6 on the dot, 6 p.m. And then you see him in the video, and you see him in the photograph that was taken outside. Mm-hmm. So he did it, he made it. But I just thought that was fascinating. The idea that you can get up in the morning, get a Concorde, which is what, New York to London.
You can sleep in the morning, 2 hours, and then maybe get a Concorde.
Yeah. Quicker than going from City of Derry to Gatwick now than it was.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But I just loved that. And if you don't mind, my favourite line is Bono's line, and it's amazing because it always stood out. Is like, what's he doing? Because I need to.
Tonight, thank God it's
them instead of you. Thank God
it's them instead of you. And I always remember thinking, why did they let him do that? Did he just ad-lib that or something? But then I think back, and it's like he was a bit of a rebel rocker back then. He just didn't give a shit, and it was his way of saying, you know, look at you. You need to do
you're
something.
Just thinking, like,
it always stood out for me. Yeah, I just always loved. I've never really liked Bono, but I loved that line when he delivers it.
Yeah. Delivers it well too.
It is.
Yeah, he screams it, doesn't he?
It is. I heard something about Bandhead in the last couple of weeks, and it was Phil in it was very upset that he wasn't in it. He wasn't asked because he had been friends with Geldof and Midge as well.
I thought he'd have been all over that day.
But he had just left Thin Lizzy then with his drug problem and that, and I don't know if they were trying to protect him, maybe keeping him away. I don't know, but apparently he took that degree of with him. That
I could hear his voice in that song quite handy too.
Yeah,
slapping a bit of bass too. Sure, while he's at it.
I think I read too that there was 3 artists like Bob Geldof contacted, and each of them said no. But he's never announced or
revealed who they were.
Revealed who it is. Can you imagine getting that now? I'd be like, you scumbag! Why didn't you do it?
Oh man, they'd be gone in 60 seconds on the internet. Like they'd be. Yeah.
Cancelled.
Probably we like 80-year-old man sitting in the house somewhere now, but we should have done that. Fucking.
Yeah. What? Do you know what the song was the day you were born? What was number 1 in the UK charts?
Yeah, Lionel Richie.
Hello. Yeah.
And it was in the charts for something like 6 or 8 weeks.
There's a mad looking wee thing there.
Isn't that mad, isn't it?
I can't get my head around it.
What is it? What do you call it for the listeners here?
It's a remarkable notepad, digital notepad.
Digital notepad, but it looks like a file block. We're writing on it, and then he clicks it, and it changes.
Yeah, it's just like an iPad.
Scaring me as much as them stories
social media and email and stuff. Yeah.
Where's the mouse?
Oh, there's the mouse.
It's one. You have to type in.
What?
Change page.
What is this contraption?
It's a contraption.
You can rub it out too.
Jeez, that's mad there, hey?
And these weren't around 1984, I'm sure, but
they weren't around yesterday.
Yeah, this.
You invented it this morning, just over here.
It's from the future. George Orwell.
2084.
I must see if we get myself one of them. That's very handy.
Oh, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't want one. I'm not asleep.
Yeah. This has turned into a remarkable advert now, but it backs up too, so I can open up my laptop, open up my phone, and access notes. I can add notes. I can.
That's all synced up.
Yeah, all of the notes I've handwritten too, I can convert to text. So
class.
I want one of them.
Yeah.
From job. Hey.
Somebody distract George for a second. Is
that a ghost?
Funky, because I can tear this page out and make an airplane.
Well, I can clean my can throw this further than you're playing.
Got a sibling rivalry going on here now, folks. Just don't mind us.
It's lousy.
I just see another movie there, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Was that mentioned?
I did mention it.
Did you?
But I did say Temple of Doom. I just said Temple of Doom.
Oh, okay, right.
Because I remember he actually said Purple Rain, Temple of Doom. It made it sound like it was like one film. You know, that was interesting.
Sean and I have been like best friends our whole lives, but this is where that ends. I've never been an Indiana Jones fan. I just don't get it. My partner Ash loves it too, and it's on ITV every weekend.
Yeah, it's one I'm fond of.
It's that or Harry Potter.
Every day.
Watch both of them, and I'm like, come on.
You just never took it. Just never.
They're okay.
They're alright.
I just don't.
I'm not like on that massive. I haven't seen them since I was a Wayne. I'd need to really watch them again to have any kind of anything to say about it.
Watch 1 and 3. No, I watch 1, 2, 3, but 1 is the best, and then 3 is pretty awesome too, with like Sean Connery as his father.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I don't think I've watched them since I was a kid. Like,
no, same.
I loved them then.
And it's the time period, the era of it too. It's set like during the World War, like the 1940s. It's brilliant. Like it's
WW2.
I did enjoy the most recent one, and that was around World War II. And then there's a without trying to ruin it, but they go back in time somehow. I'll not explain it too much, but like that was just amazing. But as soon as like Ash and I went to the cinema, and as soon as it finished, you know, she's like, "Oh, what did you think? It was great." And I was like,
Yeah.
I need to pee.
Yeah.
The first the first act was brilliant. The first act was like the original ones.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of got.
Yeah. See, if you don't mind, there was another movie that I never heard of until today. It was called Dreamscape. Any of you heard of that?
No.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
And it's amazing because I've thought there was something about the movie poster or the DVD, the cassette cover, whatever it was, that made me go, I need to look at this. And I opened it and I read all about it, and it's basically like an Inception style movie.
Right.
This guy's able to like implant himself into your dream.
It's not Freddy Krueger, is it? Like, freaking out here now.
But no, he doesn't try and kill you. But the idea is that he was in to try and rob you or something. But
right, rob you in your dreams.
I think in the story he's in like the White House or something. I can see you typing. I'm thinking you're downloading it for later, are you?
But, figure out how you could steal that thing of yours in your dreams.
No, he's googling the safest way home.
Is Freddy Krueger going to batter me?
Away from those concrete trees.
Is ghosts real?
But I love the Christopher Nolan movies, and Inception's one of my favorite. I watched it again there recently, but I think I'll watch this to see what happens.
See what the crack is with it.
Yeah, definitely. You know? Because on Dream, Sean and I have always had this conversation, and I always ask people, but I can't remember the name of it. Lucid, but being able to control a lucid dream.
Yeah.
Have you ever been able to?
I'm not a big dreamer, you know. I don't really. Marion always tells me these big, long, detailed stories of her dreams, and I'd be all like, my dreams will just be like a flash. It'll be like I was like standing in Sainsbury's, but it was actually Craig and Chapel. Yeah. And then that's as much as I can offer. Do you know what I mean?
That's a nightmare. That.
That's a nightmare.
Where's the bread aisle? Over there beside the altar.
But no, I'm just not a big. I don't. Obviously, I dream. I just don't remember them that well. I don't know what it is.
Oh. Yeah.
I keep meaning to do a dream journal.
Yeah.
Start like January 1st, because I have the most amazing dreams, and I have like numerous dreams throughout the night, and they're always just like, you're always trying to break them down and go like, where did the inspiration for that dream come out of? But
Sean was telling us before we started recording that he had a dream recently that one of the derogators agreed to be on the podcast, and he woke up, he couldn't wait to tell me in front, and then he was sick. It wasn't true.
Go back to your dream and finalise it, Sean. Get them to sign something.
In my dream, I was
contract
living in an apartment, which I obviously don't. And I came back and I realised that someone had broken in. And I was searching the rooms, and I just seen all these girls run down the stairs, and I was all, come back here, you wee rats. And then I ran after them.
You wee rats.
And it was the Derry Girls, like not the actual Derry Girls fictional characters, the actual actors. And I ran after, and I caught up with Jamie Lee O'Donnell, and I was like, she was all, I'm sorry, we didn't take anything. I'll give you money if you don't call the cops. And I was all, no, just be on the podcast. And she was all,
good move.
She was all, no bother. So, yeah.
Message her and see.
Well,
she might remember it. You never know.
Jamie Lee, money or come on the show. One
that's the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't offered money.
Oh no, she has to pay us.
Oh right.
Marshmallows. Nobody had a
Let's all
marshmallow.
have a wee marshmallow now for the crack for some reason.
Kind of hard to talk, but you know what? I'll give it a go.
What's a marshmallow ASMR like?
We're about to find out.
What do you mean?
Like the.
Oh god, that's horrible. Sorry.
This will be fascinating for the listener here. They're listening to 4 boys chomping marshmallows.
So what's crack with this marshmallow?
Not a wild pile.
It's
taking our handy.
it's vegan.
It's a throwback to the Ghostbusters, Mr.
Aye,
Marshmallow.
but the whole vegan thing. So it's a vegan marshmallow.
vegan
It is
marshmallow?
indeed.
Do you know what? It tastes nicer.
It tastes nice.
It's easier chewed.
Yeah.
What's the crack way? Is there like gelatin or like something
In a normal marshmallow.
and that
or
is
most.
that's usually like beef
That's
lard or
like
something, isn't it?
it's basically the the gellant that sticks the meat to the bone in an animal.
Right.
So it's used then as a...
They are. I'm not a big marshmallow fan. They are tasty.
No,
I think
like them
anyway,
too.
somebody can correct me if I got that wrong. But basically the marshmallows tie into Ghostbusters because that's the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
We're secretly hoping the little Stay Puft guys appear and start like wrecking stuff and burning each other.
But I'm not close.
Oh,
Is that the voice?
that's the voice.
No, we won't start that.
It does sound a wee bit like Gollum.
Sean and I, we can't be in each other's company and not do that voice. So
It always...
You know what? Just lasted well. You just got to over an hour there without doing it. So
Because people turn the fucking podcast off. If we start doing it.
no,
I think they already have. They already have.
Turn it off after 5 minutes.
They're all too scared after the ghost stories.
we're actually flying through this. This is it's going on very quickly, which is great. It's enjoyable. Can I have a wee run through of TV shows of 1984?
Go for it.
So TV shows that were shown for the first time. Murder, She Wrote. Sean.
Jessica Fletcher.
Sean loves Jessica.
She's cool.
Spit and Image.
Oh,
yeah,
It's a great show at the time.
I think it's another one we weren't allowed to watch. Was it?
we weren't allowed to watch it, obviously because it was quite crude and everything. But we wouldn't have got it anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
I just remember like Big John Major and like Margaret Thatcher and everyone, and just laughing at the fact that there was real people, but never understanding what it was about.
Everything was just clean over my head. And I remember my parents and all laughing, and it's like, must be funny. I don't know. Right. The Price is Right. Surprise, surprise with Cilla Black.
Brilliant.
Great show. Saturday Night TV, man. That was out. Crime Watch. You've been that a few times, Brendy.
All right. I'll be on it again too. Keep your eyes peeled.
Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends is shown on children's TV for the first time,
Great
narrated
show.
by Ringo Starr.
Great show. So it was. That's right. Yeah.
First episode was known as Thomas Gets Tricked.
Ooh, probably by
They
that
had the fat
Gordon.
The fat
How did they
controller.
trick him? That's a bit. I read.
He ran a red light.
I read that Ringo Starr, but also Alec Baldwin and Pierce Brosnan. But I don't ever remember hearing anyone. But
That's
Ringo.
probably over
They
the...
were all in it.
Yeah, they narrated it.
Must have been maybe they came later a wee bit, perhaps.
The American version or something.
Because Thomas is still going to this day.
Yeah,
That was upstairs, Alton McGavin, that shit.
but Thomas was quite. It was okay at the time, but I think as years progressed, they started to realize it was quite very masculine, and it was all about men being right, and
Okay.
the men were the male engines were useful engines, whereas the women engines didn't do anything.
Oh, that's
Right.
right.
And Gordon was a big bully.
Yeah, like I've written here: rigid social hierarchies, male dominance.
That's like the title, and that's a review. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah. Do you remember the fat controller?
Yeah.
You couldn't even
Couldn't
have a
call
name
the
like
fat
that
controller
today.
now. No.
No.
What was
Just be the
what was the
controller.
fat controller's real name? Do you remember anything about
No.
his name?
No.
Rupert.
I didn't even know he had a name, and that's how bad it was.
He was 6'6".
Rupert the Bear.
His name is Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir Topham Hatt.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Jeez, that's the same name as Toppin down there, like. It's a common name.
Very English
Like
name.
Bort.
Very English name.
Bort.
My son is also named Bort.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was launched as comic book characters in that year, Sean.
Oh, I know it.
Music to your ears there.
First appeared in the Mirage comics, created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
So I've got a note here. Jet Set Wooly was the best-selling home video game. I do not know of that.
No.
I've never heard tell it in my life.
Never heard of
Jet
it.
Set.
Wooly.
What did
Put it away.
that game consist of? I don't like it.
Putting things in the... Oh, shit. Sorry. I shouldn't... No, I'm not sure. Yeah, never heard tell it. So, yeah, I think... Is there anything else any notes that we haven't covered that you'd like to have a wee look at or anything?
Yeah, I was listening to to Bobby Best's podcast, and he said something that made me go, "I'm doing that." He opened up an Argos catalog from 1986,
Brilliant.
and I thought, I'm doing that for 84, and I couldn't believe how quickly it came up online. But I had a really quick look at some of the stuff that was for sale back then, and I was blown away. Like, some of the stuff was just unbelievable. Anyone that's gone through those catalogs will remember it started with like jewelry, so rings, and then into watches. And I couldn't believe how many Casio watches there were. And there was one that had like the big feature, and it was the Casio watch with the calculator keys on it.
I was thinking you were going to say that. Love the old calculator watch.
And I remember people back then wanting that. And Sean, you wanted it. I remember you wanted it.
I've got one.
Yeah,
because I'm grown up and I have money.
But it was almost like
a bit of money.
That's a James Bond gadget type thing. And like, what were you going to use that for?
No.
Do you remember the TV watch too?
I remember that.
The Casio TV watch.
Like your
I'm
remote
still
control?
after one. Yeah, but they're like so expensive.
I remember somebody having one in their youth club, and it was movie night or something, and somebody just did the people tortured just the whole night. Just kind of fast forward and stopping, and yeah.
But the other thing I came up to, it made me laugh. I actually laughed out loud, and I don't really do that much. But I was going through, and it was like this. It was like dinner sets and knives and forks and cups. But there was soup mugs, and it's amazing because there was these soup mugs, and they were recipe mugs where they had the recipe printed on the front, and it was like chicken soup and Scotch broth and whatever else. But it's funny because you must remember these.
Yeah.
We chubby cups with a tiny handle.
Yeah.
And we would have used them for tea and coffee because they were a good big quantity of tea. Like I'm sure I've even got some in my garage at home, like just that I drank out of until recently. But they made me laugh because they were bloody expensive back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Inflation, they'd be worth like 60, 70 quid each. Now.
Worth a fucking fortune.
Yeah.
They pop up in charity shops sometimes. I've seen them once or twice.
Really?
But you just be like, eh.
But is that the kind of thing you see in an Argos catalogue today? Mugs?
Would you even see an Argos catalogue these days?
Well,
All online, wouldn't
I'm
it?
sure you get. Yeah, I'm sure it's all online now. But no. But like, how fun was that years ago? Getting a big thick book and it was Christmas, and you're like going through.
I used to skip through it. They
Yeah.
see the toys or whatever.
Yeah.
But the toys are right at the end. So do you remember it went from like all the DIY stuff? This is obviously just fresh research, but it goes from jewelry to household stuff and gym equipment and tents, and then into like fun adult games like board games. The board games were just unreal. There was one in particular, Sean, you'll remember. It was called Perfection. And it had this weird timer at the top of it, and you turned the timer and it clicked, and then it would just like it would click until it was finished. And it was I'm not explaining this well, but it had a bed that you pushed down, and it was like spring loaded and it stuck down.
Yeah.
You turned the timer, and the idea is that you had to do something before the timer ran out, otherwise it popped.
That rings a bell.
And what you had to do, it was put all these wee shapes in. So the circle goes under the circle, the triangle. There was maybe 50 shapes that you had to put all these things in. You had to do it within the time, and if you didn't do it in the time, it popped. And
Scared
all
the
wee
bejesus
things
out of you
went flying.
two.
And it's the kind of thing that we would have played with, for years.
It kind of, it's like one of those games. It sounds like Buckaroo as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Booker here now when you said that.
But some of the other things, I couldn't believe
I can curse.
the number of typewriters and calculators. Like that must have been like the modern tech back then.
Yeah, it was huge.
Like there was more calculators than there was children's toys.
Wow.
It was crazy.
I remember the first time getting a scientific calculator. Didn't know what to do with it.
Tan.
Yeah.
Still don't.
There's the tan button.
The time.
My fingers all tan. Right?
Just write boobs.
But then just some of the toys. You've talked about turtles in the past, but it was something Bobby said too. So Bobby, thanks for all your inspiration. But
Bobby's the best. Like,
yeah, cartoons were essentially big adverts for the toys and Transformers. There was Care Bears, Ghostbusters, obviously, but the toys were just brilliant back then. He-Man, Masters of the Universe, toys.
Love T-Man.
Action Man, Cabbage Patch Kids. Did you ever see those? Weird faces,
Such a big thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Argos catalogue and Index catalogue as well.
yeah, Index.
Do you remember the Index catalogue?
Was that the same company or what was that?
No, they were two different companies.
Right.
Two different catalogues. Sorry, and yeah, same thing. You're bringing it all back now. All the the tents and
Bringing
the
it all
fitness
back,
and the jewelry, and just as you grew up, as you get a wee bit older, you went from looking at the toys to maybe looking at the tents and stuff and going, "Oh my god, I'd love a 6-man tent." Like,
No,
you're never gonna get one. Like,
I still looked at the toys.
still had a look at the toys, and then you're moving on to the
And watches.
I was always looking at stuff that you were never going to get.
Yeah.
Until you went out and got older and earned a wage yourself. But it was just looking going.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Indeed. And then Argos is now part of Sainsbury's. It's weird. It just keeps getting less and less.
Yeah.
Per thing.
Yeah. So there you go. I think that's us with 1984.
1984. Hey, what a year!
1984. What a year! Locking on. A lot of good Ghostbusters first. Let's give it up for Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Ghostbusters.
If my calculations are correct, I think this podcast is going out on the 15th of April, which is this man George is 40th birthday. So
we're having a big sesh. Everybody land up, even if we don't know you or not. This is a wee cupcake.
This is your first official.
Sean's lighting a petrol bomb.
So dear,
just ruined me.
Sean's lighting a wee candle on a cupcake.
Happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday, George.
Diane,
George.
Running past that balloon and pop it.
There we go, sir. Happy birthday.
So I meant to try and pop a balloon, burn it during a ghost story, and I forgot. Because it would have been honest.
Well, blow it out.
Blow it out.
Right. So I'm glad you didn't try and put 40 candles in that. Thanks, guys.
Hey! Bumps.
What'd you wish for? It already came true.
Argos catalogue.
And I have a cupcake for everyone. Yay!
And there's one for everybody in the audience.
And they're vegan. Yay!
Vegan too. Happy days. So, ladies and everybody that's listening, we're going to sit here and stuff our faces on cupcakes. Thank you very much, George, for joining us. And thank you, Sean, for the cupcakes.
You're welcome.
And thank you,
very
Randy. This has been Mind the Time, 1984, with George Keddy as our guest. Thank you very much, George.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Georgie.
I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a big fan of the show and it's amazing to be part of this side of the podcast, so appreciate being here.
Yes, sir.
You're very welcome, bro.
It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Keep on listening.
Absolutely.
So everybody, this has been 1984, as Brendan says. Keep on listening. Check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook. We're also on YouTube. You can watch us live. Subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Good luck. And bye-bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.
Mind the time.